On today's Primetime Local News, City Council begins the process of reviewing the land use bylaw. And the Lakeland Wrestlers enter the final stretch of the preseason. Plus, MPs elect a new Speaker of the House in Ottawa.
Primetime Local News, serving the Lakeland and Midwest regions.
I'm Jace Mackey. Thank you for joining us. We begin here in the border city as the city of Lloydminster has been making changes to the way it handles the future use of land. An update to the land use bylaw was presented to City Council this week. Over the years, the current bylaw in place has been amended multiple times, but Council believes tackling this now after the municipal development plan being approved is the best course of action.
So the land use bylaw really determines a lot of things about where businesses are located, the different categories such as commercial 1, 2, and 3, industrial 1 and 2. There's direct control districts that are managed by City Council. Any development is approved by City Council.
The changes in the update came in the form of ease of development and construction permits with the end goal of not hindering economic development.
A year-long process that will be moving forward. We will get to a first reading of the bylaw, and at that time there will be a public hearing at that time for people to be fully aware of what's going on. But this is the first step. We're asking for their input, seeing what's there today. They'll talk about the amendments we've made and where we would like to go forward.
And if you have any opinions on the land use bylaw that you would like to share with Council, the community is invited to an open house Wednesday, October the 6th, from 5 to 8 p.m. at the Service Sports Center. Cute story right there. And now Thomas Wildman is here for a look at weather. And while it was a cold day today, it was warmer than yesterday.
Yeah, for sure, Jason.
At least in the morning.
Yeah. Well, it's cold pretty much. It'll be probably cold throughout the mornings, throughout the next full month here in October. And especially once we get into winter, it'll be plenty cold. But yeah, it's so much warmer today, and it's much better. I was able to wear my nice windbreaker instead of my winter coat yesterday, so that was certainly much more preferred. And as you can see, it's actually usually much colder here on our lovely October 3rd, as the normal usually is a high of 13 and a low of 1. We're beating both those numbers with a 15 and a 4 today, so that's fantastic so far as we start out the month of October. So yes, it's still 15 degrees right now and just looking really beautiful right now. Not a lot of wind. It's just a fantastic day outside in the Great Border City. Now looking towards North Battleford, and they're having an even better day than us, it seems, as they're at 17 degrees right now, also with very little wind. Though they do have that 40% humidity right now, so we might see some rain as the day finishes out here. Going now into Cold Lake, they're right at about the same point as us. Might be a little humid there as well with that 44%, but still a nice day out in Cold Lake. Looking now at our current temperatures, we'll start on the Alberta side. Just a little south of Bonnyville is 16 degrees at St. Paul, same as Cold Lake. Bonnyville's also at 15. Up north, Lac-La-Biche is looking at a 14 right now. Vegreville is sitting at 15, as is Edmonton, with Vermilion sitting at 16 degrees. Wainwright also being warm there at 17 degrees as well, and with Provost at 16. Now we'll look over to our Saskatchewan side. Up north at Isle La Crosse, they were our cold place today at 12 degrees. Green Lake and Meadow Lake both at 16. They're always at about the same temperature. Petersland and St. Walburg sitting at 15 degrees, and Maidstone and North Battleford at that 17 as mentioned, with Macklin at 16. So now taking a look at tonight's forecast, we're going to be back to that low of 4 as mentioned. Mostly cloudy. We're going to have some shower in spots late though, 68% chance of that precipitation there. Then looking now into cold North Battleford, they're at 3 degrees, mostly cloudy, and they're also going to see those shower in spots late, a 62% chance for them. Then in North Battleford, they're 4 degrees. It's going to be raining everywhere today, it looks like, with increasing cloudiness with rain and a drizzle late there at 4 degrees with a 68% chance of that precipitation. But now we'll look at our 3-day forecast here coming up. Wednesday, it's going to be very windy, so unfortunately it's going to get a little cool there to finish on tomorrow. -1 as our low there. Thursday is going to be our cold day of the day, 7 degrees. It's going to be sunny, though it's going to be pretty windy there as well at -5. And Friday, it's going to be rather cloudy, and milder, though. It's going to be 12 degrees with a high of 5 degrees. And now we'll take a quick look at our viewer photos. Here's oh, pardon me, that's the wrong button there. Our viewer photos, as Lisa has sent this in here from Perch Lake. What a lovely photo, especially with those clouds. You know, always not the best thing to look at there with the clouds, but sometimes that's just a beautiful shot there from Lisa, and another great shot from Lisa at Perch Lake. But we'll now send it over to Jace for more news. As we finish up, we'll have some more weather in our next segment.
Some beautiful photos there. Thanks for that, Thomas. After the break, former fashion mogul Nygaard was back in court today. We'll have more after the break. It's time for sports now. With the regular season quickly approaching, the Lakeland Wrestlers men's basketball team is getting practiced up for their first few games. With more, here's our Thomas Wildman.
The Wrestlers have had a solid preseason, mainly working on getting the new recruits to the squad accustomed to Lakeland Wrestlers basketball.
We only have about 4 returners, so for us it's imperative that our veterans try to, get these guys up to speed quick, and us as a coaching staff get them up to speed quick. I like the new pieces. It's just, we play a little different style than most other teams, so it's just every day in practice, repetition, and then when we have our exhibition games, kind of seeing what that test looks like, right? So we had a test this weekend, a couple of tests against Red Deer. And some of the stuff we're doing at practice didn't translate, so we're going to have to get back to the drawing board, and hopefully this weekend when we play Briarcrest, it looks a little bit better.
The new players, while it's tough, are working hard to get used to Coach Thomas's systems.
Well, it's definitely not easy. It's something kind of new to me, especially with the way he plays, play hard-nosed, full-court pressure basketball. So you need to make sure you're in fit, top shape, to play for him. And I think it's good because we're all in here working hard, and we see what each other can do, and it makes us trust each other when we're putting our best out there in practice and in games. So hopefully it comes out in the games.
Because of the hard-working mentality, the Wrestlers will look to be one of the toughest teams to play against in the ACAC.
One of the great strengths of this team is our camaraderie and our defense. Once we hone in our defense, I think we'll be a great team, and we'll be tough to beat.
The Wrestlers' final 2 preseason games will be against Briarcrest College at home this week. Thomas Wildman, Primetime, local.
And now it's time for us to check in once again with Thomas Wildman for another look at your evening weather forecast.
Well, thanks, Jace. You may have gotten a quick sneak peek at this slide when our past little bit here, but we'll take a look at the central region temperatures. We'll start in Alberta here. Athabasca sitting at 16 degrees. Whitecourt and Edmonton both at 15, as is Edson. And then further out into the west, closer to the mountains there, we've got Jasper, Rocky Mountain House, and Red Deer all sitting at 14 degrees. Now we'll take a look at the Saskatchewan side. The Saskatchewan side, we're going to see Meadow Lake at 16 degrees. PA is going to be a little bit colder there. That's Prince Albert at 12 degrees. Milford at 8 degrees, and both North Battleford and Saskatoon sitting at 17 degrees. We're now going to go up to the north, looking at our Saskatchewan side first here. We'll have the Uranium City and Stony Rapids at 11 degrees. Then Lelouch and Buffalo Meadows looking at Buffalo Narrows, at 12 degrees there. Flin Flon at 10 degrees, and so now we'll transfer back over to the Alberta side. In the north, High Level at 15 degrees, Fort Chipewyan and Fort McMurray at 14 degrees, Peace River at 15 degrees, Grand Prairie at 14, and Slave Lake at 13 degrees. So now we'll take a look at our future radar, and actually we're going to be seeing a lot more action on the Saskatchewan side there, just barely out of reach of Regina there. We're going to see a lot of rain coming through right now, and then of course below us there, as you can see here following up, we're going to see the lights, whether they're coming through the middle of our province, just a little below us. And so, of course, we may see a little bit of that as we've been projecting earlier. Now looking at our school day forecast for the morning, we're going to be a little warmer there at 8 degrees. Then at recess, we're going to see a nice 10 degrees. Around lunch, you're going to be at 11 degrees, and that's going to finish out your school day right around that 11-degree mark. So now we'll look at tomorrow's forecast for North Battleford. They're at 12 degrees, and they're going to be mostly cloudy, becoming windier and cooler as the day goes on, and there could be some morning rain and some drizzles followed by some showers in the afternoon, an 89% chance of that precipitation there. Cold Lake is going to be 10 degrees. They're going to be mainly cloudy and going to become windier and cooler as the day goes on as well, with a couple of showers and 84% chance in the afternoon there. So now we'll take a look at the travel forecast as we start there in Meadow Lake. They're at 10 degrees for tomorrow. They're going to be seeing some showers, as is Bonnyville, very similar there. Might be a little bit windier. Provost is going to be warmer at 14 degrees, but they're going to see a shower or two as well. Isle La Crosse is going to be 9 degrees, which is going to be cooler than a good portion of the place, with a rain at 94% chance. So they're definitely going to see some rain there tomorrow. Paradise Hill at 85%, sitting at an 11 degrees right now for tomorrow. Now looking at Murnum, Murnum's going to be at 12 degrees, and they're going to be sunny, one of the few places that isn't going to see probably a lot of rain tomorrow. Pierceland at 10 degrees with an 86% chance of showers. Unity at 13 degrees, with Wainwright going to be sitting at 13 degrees as well. And Calgary is going to be at 13 degrees. A little bit sunny there, but we're going to see some morning showers, a 67% chance there. Then overnight for the traveling, we're going to see Murnum at 5 degrees, Pierceland and Unity both at 3 degrees as well, with some late showers. 4 degrees in Wainwright, they've got a 62% chance of rain as well. Calgary at 8 degrees with a 25% chance of precipitation. It's going to be mostly cloudy there. Meadow Lake sitting at 4 degrees with Bonnyville also sitting at 4 degrees. Provost is going to be sitting at 5 degrees, as is Isle La Crosse, and Paradise Hill at 2 degrees. We'll take now a look at your 7-day forecast. It's going to be 12 degrees tomorrow with that very windy bit. Thursday, we're going to be sitting at 7 degrees at -5. Friday, we're going to be sitting at 12 degrees with a low of 5. And then into the weekend, it's going to be nice and warm and sunny at 20 and 21. And into the next week, it's going to be 21 degrees. Going to cool off a little bit on Tuesday. But that will do it for the weather. We'll send it back over to Jace with some more news after the break.
Very excited to be joined here on Primetime Local News by Dr. Danielle Gannett from Violet Eyes Optometry here in Lloydminster. Thanks for coming in today.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
And it's a big topic we're talking about. We're kind of starting a little series here talking about eye health, and we're focusing on children first of all. Kids have been back to school for a little bit now, and you know, keeping up with your eye health is important, and parents maybe don't know when they should be taking their kids to the eye doctor. So what's a good time for them to start?
Especially once we're in school, children should be checked once a year. We want to make sure that they're seeing as best as possible, that their eyes are working well together. And we even start doing eye exams as young as 6 to 9 months of age. At that first baby eye exam, it doesn't matter if they're verbal or they can tell us what they're seeing. We have a lot of different lights and lenses that we use to make sure basically everything's developing on track. So after that first eye exam, again around age 6 to 9 months, we typically start annual eye exams around age 3, and your kids should definitely get checked out before they start school.
And 80% of learning in classroom, I saw that stat, is visual. So it's really important that you give your kids the leg up and that they're not kind of going to be falling behind with an issue maybe you don't even know about.
Exactly. A lot of learning is visual, and it's not just glasses. Our brain controls so much of our vision, and there are a lot of different skills that we look for in an eye exam. How well your eyes work together, how well your eyes can focus up close, if they can look quickly far away. You have to be able to see here, you have to look up at the board and take in all your surroundings.
Now, for young kids in kindergarten going to school, there's a program in Alberta called I See, I Learn. Talk to me a little more about what this is, because it's going to be helpful for parents for their kids if they need glasses.
Yeah, all kindergarten students at some point in the year should get a pamphlet sent home from their teacher about the I Learn program. It's a program that was developed to help with the cost of eyewear if a child is starting in kindergarten and they need glasses. Kids in kindergarten can get one free pair of glasses that year while they're in school. So even if they already have another set of glasses and you know they need a pair, they're eligible for a free pair, or if it's their first pair, just to help parents with getting their kids into the best vision that they can have.
That's awesome, and it's this is for any kindergarten kid in Alberta?
Yes, and Saskatchewan has a program as well.
Perfect, so if they come into Violet Eyes, that'll
if they have a form from their school, or we have forms at our office as well.
Now talk to me a little bit about maybe tips for parents to ensure that their kids are not, doing things that are going to be hurting their eyes and stuff like that. What kind of things should they keep in mind for their eye health?
Well, we hear the big scary word screen time all the time, blue light, and it's hard to know what's the right thing to do. At school even, our kids are exposed to so much screen time, so it's hard as a parent to know what's appropriate. We typically recommend as optometrists that children try to spend as much time outside as possible. We recommend trying to spend about 2 hours outside every day. Now obviously where we live, that's a little bit harder certain times of the year, but recess counts. It doesn't have to be all at once. The less time our parents allow their children to spend on screens up close is good as well. The more time we spend on screens, our eyes kind of get locked into this focusing system, and kids we've seen over the past few years are just becoming more and more nearsighted. So if we can try to reduce device time to shorter amounts of time and take frequent breaks from those devices and spend more time outside.
Yeah, because everything's good in moderation, but when you're
Exactly.
spending the whole evening on it, obviously in the dark and stuff, that's going to have an impact. Blue light glasses, do those help?
They can help with some people. It's not really evident that they're not causing that blue light causes permanent damage, but it can definitely cause some eye strain just with how our eyes are feeling if we're on a device for a long period of time.
Now, we were talking before we started this panel too about some ways that Violet Eyes offers for people to kind of slow down how maybe nearsighted they're getting or how their prescription is changing over time. Can you kind of share a little bit about that?
Absolutely. So when I was a kid, I got glasses in kindergarten, and then every year of school, my eyes got worse and worse and worse. And I'm sure a lot of parents that happened to them as well. It's a condition known as myopia or nearsightedness. You can see up close very well, but without glasses, things far away are very, very blurry. Myopia gets worse when our eyes grow. Children's eyes are rapidly growing. And we see in nearsighted kids that their eyes grow way faster than they should. When I was a kid, there was nothing we could do to slow that down, but now there is. We have a device that can measure the length of the eyeball at our office to determine which kids' eyes are growing faster than they should. And there are certain methods we can use in specialty glasses, specialty contacts, or specialty eye drops that can actually slow down that growth of the eyeball. So if your kid's a -1, for example, and they are changing 3 clicks on the dial every year, maybe we can slow it down so that they only change maybe 1 and reduce the amount that their prescription will be when they're older. Higher prescriptions are at a lot higher risk of retinal disease and vision loss when you're 50, 60, 70. And a key intervention can happen at age 5, 6, 7 to prevent that later in life.
And this is something that's relatively new, but it's already showing positive signs.
Yeah, the glasses have been around for a long time. It's just we're so slow to kind of be like, is this for real? Is this actually going to work? And we've been using the glasses for a few years in our clinic now, and we've been super, super happy with the results.
That's good. Now, it's important, if parents are at home and their kids have been going to school for about a month now, maybe they can talk to them and see kind of how things are going, make sure they get that appointment.
This kind of first teacher interview as well, that's usually when things come to light. So that might be a couple months from now. So ask your kids, can you see the board? What if you're sitting at the back of the classroom? Is it easy to see? Is it hard to see? Because kids will sometimes be like, yeah, it's fine. But if you don't ask specific questions, you don't know.
Well, and that's what we were talking about a little beforehand too, is if you're used to not being able to see things as far away, maybe you can't really clue in of, hey, I might need glasses, I'm having a little bit of an issue here. So it's important to ask those kind of supporting questions.
Yeah, exactly. Kids might not know that you should be able to see the leaves on the tree from far away.
Yeah.
It shouldn't just look like a blob, you know? Yeah.
Finally, I wanted to ask about Violet Eyes. 10 years here in Lloydminster. It's crazy to think about that on October 19th, celebrating that anniversary with a sale as well. What's planned for that?
Yeah, we're really excited. Violet Eyes has been around now for 10 years. I've been there for 5. So to have a big customer appreciation for our 10-year anniversary, we're having a trunk show, which means we're having a bunch of frame reps come in with their whole frame lines. All our frames will be 50% off. There'll be a big sale all day long. So we're really looking forward to having people come check that out.
Perfect. Congratulations on those 10 years as well.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for coming
Thank
in
you.
today, Danielle.
Thanks for having me.
Awesome. It was great talking with you.
You too.
Furniture set and design supplied by Furniture Gallery, downtown Lloydminster.
I'm back at Border Paws Animal Shelter for another edition of Pet Project, and today we have the most gorgeous, cuddly cat named Noodle. Tell me about her journey here and, you know, how long she's been here and all her information.
Yeah, so Noodle is just under 2 years old. She came in and actually was pregnant and ended up, she came in as a stray from the city of Lloyd in May, and she ended up having 2 babies within a foster home. And they've all been adopted, but Noodle is still hanging out here with us, hoping for a home of her own. As you can see, she's very cuddly, loves attention. She was actually in a foster home with kids, and when my kids come here, she is one of their favorites to take out because she just hangs out like this and will cuddle them the whole time. So she would really like a home with kids, and she seems to be pretty good with the other cats. We have not tested her with dogs, but I'm guessing she would probably adjust as long as it was a dog that was respectful of her. But yeah, she is such a loving and playful cat.
Yeah, she, since she's been out of her little cage, she's been very affectionate.
Yeah.
And she's, you know, the first thing she did was jump up onto the chair and just start rolling around and moving so that you can pet her and stuff. So, and the fact that she's great with kids too, I think that makes her perfect for any household because, you know, kids love animals. So having a cat that's very affectionate, it works out very well for them as well.
Yeah, she needs a couch of her own to lounge on like this. So.
Yeah. Which is awesome. And you said that she's been here since May, correct?
Yeah, so she's been here for a while, and she's doing well. I mean, she's pretty chill in this environment. However, obviously, she would be way happier to find a home of her own where she can lounge like this and give cuddles to her own people.
She is very, very cute and loves the attention as well. So that's awesome. A lot of cats don't always like attention from people. So
she's quite cuddly.
She's very affectionate and her personality is quite large.
Yes.
Now coming up, you will be at the Pet Expo.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about what people should know about it, you know, when, where, what your involvement will be in it and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, so the Pet Expo is taking place on Saturday the 14th and Sunday the 15th of October from 10 to 5. It's open to the public on Saturday and then 10 to 4 on Sunday. We are going to have volunteers there with a booth. We want to have some of our cats on site and kittens for people to come and meet. And they're actually allowed, here, I'll put you up here. They're allowed to bring their own dogs with them to the event as well. So it looks like there's going to be a lot of pet-related vendors and a lot of fun stuff going on that weekend for any of the pet lovers in Lloydminster. And we were lucky enough to have Cobb's Welding actually donate the cost of our booth so that we didn't have to spend money on that. So we're really thankful that we're able to be there and have that cost covered for us. It's great exposure for our adoptable animals.
That's awesome. And now you had your fall photos recently, and there was a bit of a hiccup.
Yes.
But you were able to raise a decent amount of money.
Yeah, so we were able to raise a few $100s this weekend. We ended up, our original photographer wasn't able to make it, so we did have Josh Colson actually stepped up and was able to do the photos for us. It was beautiful. They had the fall background of the leaves and everything, and it was at the First Baptist Church. So we had a decent turnout and we had some dogs there, and the photos that they did get were really pretty. So we were very thankful that that event was able to still run and that the weather cooperated so well for us as well.
That's fantastic because, I mean, I'm sure a lot of people love getting photos, beautiful photos of their animals.
Yeah.
And it's hard for them to sit still, so it's kind of difficult to get your own photos sometimes.
We even had a couple of poodles that came with like specific stuff that they were wearing for the photos, so they were very prepared, so it was really cool.
That's really cute. Now, same question every week. Are there any specific donations that you're in need of?
We could use some cans of gastro food for cats specifically, or kibble of gastro food. It's usually sold at the vet clinics in town. And we do have a couple cats right now. Noodle is one of them that is on gastro food just because it helps their stomachs settle a bit if they're stressed at all. And then, of course, martingale collars and maybe some long lines for our dogs as well so that we can get them playing. Our grass area is set up, so we'll be showing you guys that next week. And it's nice to have long leashes, like 10 to 15 feet, so we can be playing with them, doing frisbee and exercise and stuff like that. So.
That's awesome. And if anybody has any questions or not really sure about brand or, you know, what you're actually looking for, can they call you, or is it all on your Amazon wish list so they can go to that?
So we actually just started a new thing where we emailed out a Google Doc that's editable to all the pet stores in Lloydminster and all the vet clinics. So everybody now has an up-to-date list from the shelter, so that anytime we have special needs, we can send that out mass to every store. So that way you can go to whatever store you prefer to support, and they'll have a list of our needs there too.
That's wonderful. I think that's a fantastic idea, and it keeps track of everything that you need from all the stores and clinics, and people. It's easier for people to just go in and say, "Hey, what does the shelter need?" And they can show you specifically what to get, so you know that you're getting what you need.
And we do have our Amazon wish list, but it's nice to be encouraging to support local. So any store you go to, they should have our list now.
Awesome. Well, thank you for joining me. And Noodle is behind the chair right now,
looking out the window.
But with how affectionate she is and how loving she just seems to want just cuddles, I think she'd make the perfect addition to any household.
Yeah, she's a sweetheart.
And before we go tonight, Thomas, some kind of Facebook-related news here. Reports today that Meta is planning to introduce ad-free subscription plans for Instagram and Facebook users in Europe. So, not here in Canada yet, but sources say several pricing plans are being looked at, with the most feasible being about $10 a month. The proposal is an attempt by Meta to comply with EU regulations that threaten to curb its ability to personalize ads for users without their consent and hurt its major source of revenue. So would you pay for Facebook or Instagram?
Not likely. Like, I haven't paid for my blue check mark on X yet, so I don't really know if I'd ever. For Facebook, like, is it like with those ads? Like, I don't know. I like actually looking at the ads sometimes. I mean, they're targeted, so that might be part of it. But
and they're getting it from your data. But it's going to be interesting because sometimes you get people's posts that you're not following yet, but it's not really an ad for something too. So I wonder if that would kind of change things up with the algorithm as well.
Maybe I'm cheap, but $10 is pretty steep. Like, that's almost as much as like a Sportsnet subscription at this point.
Yeah, and I think you'd rather spend on that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Well, that's all the time we have for Primetime Local News. We'll see you back here again tomorrow. Have a good night.